Everyone, welcome to Startup Autobahn Program 10. We are now starting. Sorry that I had to take you away from your tables, but at the end, after our pitches and our keynotes, you can go back and talk more about whatever you talked. Screen for all of you. So today, actually, we have our first public meetup together with our partner ZF, and it's Earth Day. So happy Earth Day as well to everyone. And yeah, we hope you're doing well. It's amazing to see actually that spring is coming up. I only can now talk here about Stuttgart. We're based in Stuttgart, but I hope, actually I was checking it out, we have 27 countries today with us and 40 different kind of cities. And I think this is a perfect number for our today's topic. So what we are talking about today, it's cities of tomorrow. So how do we move around? How is everything connected? How we can make it more sustainable and useful for us. And for this, we actually have 10 amazing startups with us. We have our host with us, ZF, and 2 more keynote speakers. And at the end, you can go back at this Remo roundtables to discuss by yourself about the topic or just have a Feierabend beer, afterwork beer. If you're interested in a sneak peek of the startups already before we start into the startup pitches, you just can scan the QR code here on this slide and you will arrive at our briefing page. So each startup, they have their own profile, but as well you can see what kind of speakers do we have, connect with them on LinkedIn. And as well, my colleague Anton will post it in the chat. You just can click on this. I think I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Hannah. I'm taking care of our Startup Autobahn program. And actually, I can give you a promise. There's a lot of things changing right now, but at Startup Autobahn, we stay innovative. We just kicked off our last program, and actually it's our program 10, our 5-year anniversary, our birthday at Startup Autobahn, and it was really a fun day. We had like over 150 guests. Our new program have 24 startups, and we had over I think 40 one-on-one meetings and some beers, I think 200 beers somehow, of course virtual, but it was a really fun day. But overall, looking at startups is one thing, but actually our goal is to collaborate, to have joint pilots, POCs, and we already have 25 pilots confirmed. And I think this is a nice number to start program 10 and to show out that as well virtual innovation is possible. But yeah, we are not here for our program 10 or what happened last week with our kickoff. We are here to meet new startups, enable new projects. And for this, actually, yesterday and today, we already set up one-on-one meetings with our partners and the startups in so-called deep dives, and now opening it up more to you, to our community, to meet the startups, but as well to deep dive in the content. So what is happening today? We will start with a hey from our hosts. Joscha, he is head of global scouting for ventures and technologies at ZF, and Sasha, he is managing Plug and Play Germany. Then we will jump over to a keynote from Dr. Dirk Walliser. He is CTO at ZF, and he will share his thoughts on next generation mobility in smart cities. Really excited about this. Followed by 10 startup pitches who will showcase their solution in like new mobility logistics, concept of the future, smart city infrastructure, user experience, and so on. My colleagues, Johannes and Alina, will guide you through this. And followed by our second keynote. So Lior will join us from Rotterdam. He is a co-founder and urban planner at Humankind. And actually his main job is to make people-oriented cities. And he will speak a little bit more about how to create cities for people. And we'll discuss a little bit, do we really need technology for this? So a little bit a different viewpoint on the future cities, and excited about this part. And then ending with Stefan from AMS, from our friends from this institute in Amsterdam, who will give you a sneak peek in Open Innovation Makes Urban Impact. And then we all go back to the tables and discuss a little bit more about what we talked about. We have a table for ZF, we have a table for AMS and Murata, and so on. With this, I want to say thank you to all our speakers, to the startups, and looking at the number, 165 people on the other side of the screen joining us today. And Yosha, if you're around, I would like to give you the screen to kick off our agenda of today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Hannah. Hello and welcome, everyone. Really glad you're joining today. We do hope you find this event interesting. To those of you who've joined us in the deep dives yesterday and today, also shout out to the endurance that you're proving by looking such a long time at startups. And probably the biggest thank that I want to say today is to all the startups who have done an amazing marathon of pitching their idea in the past 2 days. I've really enjoyed the pitches. I do hope that the audience here and also the people in the previous calls did so too. Smart city and the city of tomorrow is like a super broad topic, and sometimes it's not easy to grasp. And we tried to come up with a kind of representative selection of startups. We scanned more than 100 startups to find a selection that you're seeing, that you're meeting today. And we tried to find kind of a broad variety, some startups from all the different elements that we see specifically that are going to shape the city of our future. And we do hope that this inspires you for follow-ups of whatever kind. Like if it's just internal within your corporation, within your company, that's perfectly fine. Take the idea there, talk about it, develop it further, make something out of it. But also, obviously, if you want to work with one of the startups, if you require more information with them, then Plug and Play will facilitate the exchange, can make the introduction, can establish the lead, and then you can kick it off together with the startup. Don't want to say much more. Hannah gave you the overview of the agenda already. Maybe one more word, since it hasn't been discussed so in detail yet, here on Remo. Some of you are new to Remo, and maybe it's a bit confusing at the first try. Don't let yourself be disturbed about it. I think it's an absolute fun tool for networking. I've never seen such a cool tool for networking as a fact. You have the tables, wander around the tables, start conversations, ask the questions you want to ask, and really leverage this opportunity today, but also this great tool to make the best out of the time. And with that, I want to hand over to Sasha.
Thank you so much, Joscha. Just trying to get the technical stuff here right. And also Hannah for the introduction. Very excited about today. Welcome everybody also from my side to the Startup Autobahn meetup, the first one of Program 10. So I'm not sure if all of you know, but ZF was actually our second partner on the Startup Autobahn platform. So we know each other for quite some time. In 2018, we had our first physical event at the ZF Forum in Friedrichshafen on the topic Industry 4.0. I also was speaking at two other like internal innovation event and external innovation events. So some of you might have seen or heard me before. But I really treasure the mindset ZF has of constantly reinventing oneself. I believe these days, this is a must in order not to only grow, but to keep up with the international pace, especially in this fast developing auto tech world. And if I see it right, then ZF is a company which is a great example and who has since inception been constantly reinventing themselves through their products and services. So today and yesterday, as Joscha and Hannah mentioned, US experts and engineers together with our anchor partners at Startup Autobahn, we're looking at these startup technologies, which some of them make traveling safer, more efficient, more comfortable, cleaner, or even carbon neutral. And these technologies might not have much relevance to the Zahnrad, which made ZF so famous and successful back in the days, but might be solutions for upcoming new mobility concepts and solutions where ZF again can create a new business case around. So even though ZF has perfectionated an outstanding 9-gear automatic gearbox, if I got it right, and already shifted focus on e-mobility and future business cases, will shift more and more to software solutions, adapt faster to the needs of new markets, also geographically, like China, for example. So looking forward, not only the core auto technologies will change to what electric vehicles or the ability to drive longer distances, but also the entire automotive ecosystem will change, including charging infrastructure, new car-related services like in-car shopping, in-car education, gaming, in-car entertainment, and or new mobility concept and smarter infrastructure, which we will see now in our startup pitches a little bit later. For Plug and Play and Startup Autobahn, it is our mission to help make these collaborations with these new tech and startup companies easier, more scalable, efficient, so that the most possible implementations with the best new technologies will or can result in a short time. With that note, I'm looking forward to give it over to Dr. Dirk Walliser, who brought tons of experience and know-how to ZF. And I think he did some stops in Northern Germany and Chicago, places where I've been or come from as well. And Dirk, you have to tell me more about yourself over a beer sometime. And Dirk, the stage is yours. Thank you.
You're still on mute, Dirk. And Dirk, hang on, you're still on mute. I can't hear you.
Genau. Can you hear us, Dirk? Can you give us a time?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, Hannah, Alina, but not Dirk.
Where we want to have components that see, think, and act, our products become more intelligent, but also about how can we cope with the disruptive changes. And of course, it's a journey that has a lot of venture-like steering in it, trying things out, stopping, starting things, and finding out what is the right space. And although ZF is a company that provides technology and components, I would like to talk on a journey how we come from components for next generation mobility to a completely new transport system, the autonomous mobility system. So it's a story about how we reinvent again our business from startup thinking to a new business contribution. And I'm not sure whether my presentation can be seen. I can see it. Can you see it? Can you also make it available to me so I know on which page we are?
Absolutely, we can see it. You should see it.
I suggest to go to page 2, where you see a ZF autonomous driving shuttle. And if you can just give me a feedback, can you see that shuttle on that page, page 2?
We do.
So I see a lot of thumbs up. I assume that this is the case. And I will just tell you when to skip the page. I think that way we can start. So let me start with the problem space. If you can go to page 3. The problem stage that I'm talking about is really urbanization. And as you know, and I guess in later contributions that will also be shared, already half of the world's population lives in megacities. As you know, they are crowded, and it will go up to 2/3 of the total population in the world to living in these megacities. But these cities want to remain mobile for people and cargo. The present transport infrastructure has come at its edge. It can no longer cope with it. Roads are crowded. We have more traffic jams. We have more noise. We have increased demand for parking spaces, but also, above all, emissions are increasing. And this has a negative impact on air quality and on life. And because these trends and developments, the private transport that we all love, because it's a measure of freedom to operate, freedom to live, freedom to go through the cities, this public transport, private transportation is under pressure. And the ideal of a car-friendly city is something that may be part of the past. What I would like to talk about, what can we do with new transport concepts to cope with the situation? Can I go to page 4 or to slide number 4? Well, the cities have taken up that challenge. The sustainable mobility, both in terms of environmental impact, but also on fluent, on society-friendly mobility, is on the top of the city's agendas today. And they've taken actions. Already in 2005, 40 megacities came together, and they formed the city's climate leadership, which now has a membership size of 90 cities. And all these cities together represent 25% of the global gross national product, even though only every 12th person in the world on this planet live in these cities, 650 million people. And they all have in common that just investing in public transportation is only one piece of the big puzzle. And it will not solve the ultimate goal of fluent and sustainable mobility in cities. Now, if you go to the next page, next slide, that's a common challenge, but still the cities look very differently. So we have to find solutions for different cities, different types. There are cities that are very dense and they have a strong public transportation system, like Hong Kong, for example. So, but also still this transportation system is not able to cope with the upcoming traffic. There's other cities that are also dense, but they more rely on individual mobility. If you go to Bangkok, for example, you see a huge city, a lot of dense traffic, but almost no public transportation. On the other hand, there are cities that are more dispersed, like Bogota, for example. Bogota has a strong public transportation system. They have access across the city where you have a lot of lanes of vehicles, but also trains and buses running. Still, they are congested. They are dispersed with public transportation. And there are cities that are also dispersed, but they have more private mobility, such as Houston. A lot of the North American megacities really have a lot of individual traffic. And that beyond these channels, they all have in common that just investing in more public transportation or building more roads or allowing for more parking space is simply not possible. So what is the solution for those cities? And if you go to the next space, one solution is to go away from a centralized transportation system to a networked, connected autonomous mobility system, which, and I will show that a little later, is a much more affordable solution to those challenges as just doing one of all, more roads, more parking space, more buses, or just more trains. In the future growth, we need a fundamental paradigm shift, going away from just centralized public transport as the only answer to network mobility. And that can be realized with autonomous shuttles that adjust very easily and flexibly to different demand situations and also to a flexible optimized utilization. You could, for example, pre-record the allowance for stops. A stop is literally everywhere. Wherever there's a passenger, wherever there's somebody who wants to go from A to B, that's a stop. and with the shared mobility and with iPhones and smartphones, you can order those, and an operation system can easily calculate the demand and adjust the number of shuttles, adjust the number of stops to that situation. In a nutshell, cities need less investment, fewer vehicles, and also there will be less empty runs. So the overall utilization and also the cost of ownership could be much cheaper than anything we have today. If you go to the next slide. Also, because we need less vehicles that are better optimized, we will have, with autonomous transport systems, far fewer emissions per trip and per passenger. Of course, less congestion. They could all run electric anyway, so we have locally zero emissions. And the overall investments in both the production and the operation of vehicles is much smaller. We have high utilization and shorter cycle times on demand. And so the total cost of ownership is much smaller. And just taking two numbers show it very, very crisply why this is so. If you look at today's passenger cars, the typical utilization of a passenger car is 4 to 6%. 94 to 96%, a passenger car is parked. It consumes space, it's empty, it's investment that is dead investment for 96% of the time. Cycle times, for example, that we're all looking for if we're in the city, we want to have cycle times of less than 5 minutes. I go to a stop anywhere where I are. I don't want to wait for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I want to have transportation as quickly as possible. Cycle times with those autonomous shuttles are possible between 3 to 5 minutes in typical inner cities such as Munich or such as, for example, Hong Kong. And that means if you want to have a cycle time of 5 minutes or less in terms of investment in public transportation, that means billions of euro investments in order to reach 5 or less minutes of cycle time. Also, such shuttles, if they're operated with a smart software, and I think some of the startups will show smart software solutions for that, that can very well blend both with the private transport and the public transport. Robocabs are part of it, but they are almost as a car that is parked in front of my house, my door, but it's run publicly. So the cost, the investment for the individual, both for the private owner and for the cities, is much smaller. So it will be very quickly accepted by society. And with new generations coming up that are used to shared mobility with smartphones, with on-demand mobility, this could be a very fast change to these transportation systems. Last but not least, if we do it right and the technology is there and already deployed, safety increases considerably. So traffic congestion, a mixed traffic with passengers can be made much more safely. We believe because of these advantages and the total cost of ownership being much smaller than anything we can conceive, that these shuttle systems autonomously will be a key component in mobility in future cities. If you go to the next slide, page 8. That's why this is at the core of our strategy for automated driving. And the technology that I will share a little more with you can be shared between very different use cases. So for example, for passenger cars, we will be seeing many more L2+ systems or L3 systems in autonomous driving, simply because of safety reasons. With L2+, some of the functions will be mandatory in forthcoming legislation. Safety increases considerably. Active safety becomes mandatory. And so we have less fatalities and less accidents on the road. For L5, fully autonomous driving, the cost of the components, which is about 70,000 euros, will be too expensive for broad deployment in passenger cars. In premium vehicles, we can see it, but for the bigger part, we don't see that in the next 10 years. Whereas for trucks, for example, in special operation modes, like in yard operations, where you have autonomous operations of trucks, of trailers within a harbor situation or within a plant, also for hub-to-hub operation, we are already looking at level 4, level 5 systems, so that there may still be a driver, but the driver will not have to operate the vehicle all the time. Also, the times when the driver has to pause and to relax could be in the vehicle while the vehicle is driving. So there's already a big, huge use case for trucks with a driver, sometimes in a yard operation without the driver. And for level 4, level 2, the use case that is the most imminent is really cargo and people movers, because they have a clear business case. Now, in order to bring that to the road, of course, these autonomous mobility systems will be introduced step by step. And if you go to the next page, I can tell you a little what that means. If you have a segregated lane with a fence next to it, where you have special situations, not cross traffic, passengers cannot enter and so on, there it's rather easy to have these shuttles in place. And I will show you later that some of our shuttles are already running since more than 20 years on these segregated lanes. They can drive slowly enough so that we mitigate all potential safety risks. But it could also be on old railroad tracks that we can revitalize and have those shuttles run there. And that would be a benefit for rural areas that are far away, where a bus or where the train is not affordable, or nobody would do the investment. Still, you could use those shuttles on demand, and depending on when you need it, how much it's filled with passengers. There's also different charging system, a different pricing system, so that you would even say, I don't need a car myself because I'd rather take these shuttles if I can have it on demand. Going the next step is dedicated lanes. So we have mixed traffic already. At the moment, legislation asks for a safety driver, so there's always somebody on board, but we already have the full-fledged systems that we need, radars, lidars, perception, but also safety tolerant and safe fail operational actuator systems like braking and steering in place. And they operate safely. They can be operated with a safe operation center. So you can always have an interaction with the shuttle, which also calls for a safe connectivity connection to that shuttle. And it is a next step of maturity, which we're entering in next year with our shuttles. I also want to mention that we have a magnetic technology in place, which means there's magnetic pins every 10 meters or every 20 meters on the road. So we have some magnetic rail already in, which already is a redundant step of operating those shuttles. So we're not just relying on cameras, leaders, and so on. We always have a redundant path to steer the vehicle. That makes us comfortable of having these vehicles already in mixed operation. And that's very attractive also, because if there's snow on the road, or if there's dirt, or you have other situations, you still have this reliable magnetic connection to the vehicle. We call them quasi-rails that in bad weather are very helpful. And as you know, a lot of autonomous shuttles still have hard times while driving in rainy situations, in snowy situations. And for a passenger, it is not really comfortable if it snows. The shuttle says, sorry, I can't operate. We have to wait for 15 minutes. Hopefully you don't have a date. So that, of course, enhances the availability and usability. And we can use the shuttles in conjunction with HD maps. And because we have this redundant path with the magnetic rail, we can very much rely on the HD maps and improve them. If you go to the next page, that's how the shuttle looks like, the autonomous shuttle. It is run purely electrical. We have more than 100 million kilometers already of experience, and the availability in these times was proven to be 99.7%. And if you look at other systems, vehicles, buses, and so on, this is a very, very excellent value of that. It will run from next year on also in Brussels Airport. So to get through the Brussels Airport, but also to get to the hubs outside, those shuttles will be operating. And there's more shuttle operations coming up. I also want to mention that a special feature is platooning. So that means we can platoon up to 5 shuttles. They run together in a chain. Then all of a sudden you have the capacity of a typical inner city bus. So in peak times, when we need more traffic in the city, we can platoon those shuttles together. That enhances safety, uses less space on the streets, And when we have out times, off times, for example, in the evenings, when people want to commute out from the rural areas into the city to go to the cinema, then we can also have platoons to get them into the city like a train. So it's a very flexible and adjustable situation. Going to the next slide, of course, that's not just fancy ideas or a fantasy world. It relies on heavy duty and smart technology. I don't want to mention all of them, but one, of course, the core is a high performance computer or a Pro AI, which runs on 200 teraops. And everybody who is a little more into the electronics of these autonomous systems, the challenge is not to heat the vehicle with that HPC, but just have computational power. And we were able to reduce the heat consumption by over 60%, almost 70%. So we can run 3 teraops at 1 watt. Another feature is, of course, 4D perception. So our LiDARs and imaging radars are 4D. So not only have they the precision, they can also have the velocity. And what is pretty amazing is that they also have a vertical elongation, so you can see bridges, and we can provide a full image of the traffic situation, and thereby have redundancy, and also can do pattern recognition and, of course, the tracking that we need. And above all, about the components, of course, we need a strong software stack, which is run on a middleware that is very flexible, so we can onboard functions onto the shuttle that we didn't think about when the shuttle was deployed. So maybe in 3 years, we have a new technology, a new software in place. It can be deployed via connectivity. We can use new data, improve our systems, and bring it in. And also it has a sound, what we call Sound AI, a Pro Sound. So because the shuttle, if there's no driver in place, has to also be aware of acoustic signals, signal halls from police, from emergency vehicles, but also a passenger or a pedestrian crying or shouting out, the shuttle could stop. So it's a whole bunch of technologies, but the real benefit is that it brings a completely new way and means of transportation on demand for the cities that is very affordable. And some cities that are faced with a ban of vehicles in the inner cities could still have a very economically friendly transportation in the inner cities without investing in building new tunnels and new public transportation. If we go to slide 12, in a nutshell, you see all these benefits, and it's not just our idea. We see already the demand and also deployment of these systems coming up. So there will be every third vehicle will be autonomous by 2035. But the biggest, really the biggest benefit for inner cities is that the public transportation or the autonomous shuttles are much more affordable, less investment, and cheaper than public transportation. So with that, I hope I could share with you a little why there's a paradigm shift coming up, why ZF has embarked on that journey, not just improving our gear sets, transmissions, adding electronics, adding braking and steering, but we also look always at the use case. Why do we need it, and how can we change the world with next generation mobility? And with that, I thank you very much. I see some clapping hands, which makes me very proud. Thank you for that. And unfortunately, we don't have much time for questions. I don't know whether it's coming up anyway, but there's a lot of chances also. Joscha is here, so he can interact and share and ask questions later on. Thank you very much.
I have to say thank you from the full team. I'm not sure, can you hear me now? Maybe not.
So because there's no feedback, it could be that nobody had listened, but I see the clapping hands. Is there anybody out there other than me?
Yes, we are. But it seems like you cannot hear us, but overall it was a really good talk. I will just write you something in the chat.
I think Hannah is struggling with a microphone.
No, actually I am in. So maybe all of you guys giving some clapping hands. Could you do the emoji with the glasses to maybe show that we can see him? Maybe this is helpful. Yeah, I think he's here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'll speak to you later. And especially because we talked about all the smart city and future mobility possibilities.
Am I still on? And do you need me as an entertainer still, or how is it?
I think you can stay as an entertainer, but it's really hard to interact. So maybe somebody from the ZF team give a person a call or a text, because I don't have any access to Herr Walliser. But I think, let's see if we may include you in our startup pitches. Or my colleague Anton, I think you have the possibility.
Yeah, actually trying, but it's also not working at the moment. So the easiest way, I will connect with him via email and tell him that everything was fine.
Wonderful. And let's see, you are more than welcome to stay with us. You don't hear me, but I would say to make the vision of a future city possible, we need technologies. And this is actually the perfect hint to our next part on the agenda. Our colleagues, Johannes, Alina, you guys are ready to actually deep dive with us in the first 5 startup pitches, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. And I will just share the slides and let you guys stay here.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, Hannah. Hi, I'm Johannes. I'm part of the ventures team here to Startup Autobahn. And together with my colleague Alina, we will guide you through the pitches of our 10 guest startups. The startups we invited obviously are working all on technologies around the smart cities and these smart cities and provide services. And we think they will all play a major role in the way people will move and interact in future cities. Just to give you a little background to ensure, of course, the quality of the participating startups, we screened more than 70 startups together with the ZF team. And at this point, I would really like to give a huge shout out and a huge thank to our champions at ZF, Joscha and Handad, for this great collaboration and all along the entire process. It was really fun working with you guys together, and hopefully in the future we will host another deep dive. But now let's switch back to the startups of today. So we are very happy to have a variety of countries or places represented around the world. So we have 2 startups actually joining from the US, 3 from Israel, 2 from France, another representative from Belgium, Switzerland, Germany. The first set of startups, the first 5 startups, they're all working on solutions around data management, data monetization, as well as last mile logistics. So with no further ado, I would like to welcome Yuval from Urbanico to the stage. And if you turn on your camera, awesome. So why don't you go ahead and share your screen? I will be timing your 90 seconds. Whenever you're ready, just go.
Let's start. Thank you so much. So hello, everyone. My name is Yuval, and I'm the CEO of Urbanico. I want to talk to you today about the single most important problem of the future of cities, the utilization of data. The urban space is one of the most data-rich environments, as data is literally coming from everywhere, from the scooter rides we're taking to our workplaces, through the IoT devices that manage our traffic, all the way to the police patrol that's guarding our neighborhoods. So local governments hold this huge data treasure, but in order to utilize it and become truly smart, they have to cooperate closely with the private sector. And this is where the problem actually begins, because companies from the private sector have whole different work methodologies and are using data under complete different standards than what's currently available in the local governments. To bridge this gap, we've built Urbanico, the Google Translate for urban data. Our NLP-driven pipeline handles unlimited amount of data sources and automatically standardizing them according to a set of unified, creating a single and coherent representation of the urban landscape. Using our technology will allow local governments to leverage their most valuable asset and bring the highest level of technological solutions to the residents. We're already up and running, serving some of the most innovative companies on the planet, and for the best part, we're doing it using a disruptive business model that treats local governments as strategic partners, aligning the interest of all parties involved. We've just closed our seed round, scaling our services to the US, and would love to partner up with local governments, mobility operators, and insurance companies. And thank you so much. I would love to connect afterwards.
Awesome. This was very spot on, Yuval. Great timing. Next up, I would like to welcome Thibault from Via Nova. Thibault, we have your slides, or will you be sharing your screen?
I'm going to be sharing my screen.
Awesome.
Can you see it now?
Yes, whenever you're ready, stage is yours.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hi, everyone. My name is Thibault Castagne. I'm the founder and CEO of Via Nova. And I'm going to tell you about what we're doing and the problem we're solving today. So mobility is rapidly changing. 20 million free-floating and on-demand mobility vehicles will be on the road by 2025. So this challenge profoundly our city, and especially the share of public space. Data is key in a good integration of these new services, but the growing amount of stakeholders have little trust and framework to share data. Via Nova is a trusted third party that facilitates in secure data sharing between cities, mobility operators, and third parties. We provide a mobility data platform to improve communication and security between parties and promote efficient share of public space and safety. Today, we are present in 15 European cities and are now connected to 30 mobility operators, and we're the leading mobility data source in Europe. We're gradually integrating delivery services and soon all connected vehicles on the streets. Via Nova is available for cities, operators, and other data consumers and producers. And we're looking basically to partner with any data consumers and producers out there. As an example of what we've done, here's an example in Brussels, where we've helped the city in building 40 kilometers of cycling lanes using telemetries from shared micro-mobility vehicles. And recently, basically, we've started a collaboration with Milan, supporting the city in efficient regulation enforcement using connected vehicles data for compliance purposes, as well as automatic violations reporting. Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to partner and work with you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much. The last of the three startups working on data management and data monetization is Mobito from Brussels. So, George, are you there? Are you ready for your pitch?
Hi, Johannes. I'm here and ready. I'll share my screen right away. You can see the screen?
I can see it. Stage is yours.
Super, thank you. So yeah, great pleasure to be here. I'm George Kambanis. I'm the co-founder of Mobito, and it's a great pleasure to present how we help companies unlock the value of their data. First, starting with the team, we're a team of very talented people. We have industry expertise, and we all share a passion towards preparing the city of tomorrow, which we think should be more connected, smarter, and safer. However, we think that a big obstacle of getting there is the obstacles faced by companies in exchanging data with one another. This includes the lack of proper incentives and a proper structure for these exchanges, and also data sensitivity paralysis that we observe. And with that in mind, we have positioned Mobito as a data partner to companies, helping them to move from this idea where data exists in silos into being able to build their own enterprise data ecosystems. And while doing that, translating data into a revenue and an asset for those companies. How do we do this? We do this with a smart data exchange platform, offering data owners on the one hand, the right tools so that they're able to share but also monetize their data. And on the other hand, allowing companies to streamline the access to third-party data. We do this in a very tailored manner to specific industries, and the use cases in which we have been focusing on are smart manufacturing design, model enrichment, and process automation, with a big focus on the mobility space and mobility data. So if any of this is interesting, I would be very interested to talk with you about your own data strategy and see how we can help. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, George. Now we are switching the focus to another technology that is working on autonomous EV platforms and last mile logistics. And with me is the CEO and to play Mark.
Hello. All right, I will share my screen. Okay, great. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Mark. Stage is yours.
All right, great. All right, thank you. So, hi, my name is Mark Crawford. I'm the CEO of Interplay, and Interplay is the smartest logistics platform for last mile delivery. So we help logistics companies to reduce their costs when they perform traditional and especially crowdsourced last mile delivery. So we are a trusted technology partner that uses AI in our software and robots to improve the delivery efficiency of our customers. So our solution is a smart logistics platform that provides 3 services that helps companies to optimize their delivery performance using software, on-demand delivery, and robotics to take full advantage of crowdsourced delivery. So we have our 3 services. Interplay Direct is our software as a service that does route optimization software for delivery companies. And then we have Interplay Connect, which is capacity as a service, where we provide supplemental on-demand delivery for Interplay Direct customers. And finally, we have Interplay Deliver, which is our robots as a service. And this provides robot delivery for Interplay Connect customers. So we'll primarily talk about Interplay Connect for the rest of the presentation. And we have a robot that is modular and interoperable, and it's really in two parts. And this allows us to have multiple configurations and also allows us to have extra cargo carrying capacity when our robots travel in pedestrian walks. We also have a smart storage system that further increases the efficiency of our robot so that it can actually dock and undock the cargo containers very easily to our robots. Finally, we can integrate this technology into, say, a human-driven vehicle or an autonomous vehicle in order to maximize the efficiency of our delivery system, where we can have our robots collaborate with our autonomous vehicle. And we are looking for partners to work on automated parcel delivery pilot projects. And so we have some existing pilot projects already here in the US, and we'll be interested in having additional ones either here in the US or anywhere in the world. Time.
Thank you, Mark. And now the last startups picks moving. I'd like to welcome Matteo to the stage. Matteo, your slides here, so the next 90 seconds are yours.
I think we have some sound issues. We cannot.
You're on mute.
Okay, now here we are. Can you hear me? Hello?
Please go ahead.
Okay, so perfect. So welcome to everybody. I'm Matteo Barale, CPO at Pix Moving. Pix Moving is a self-driving startup. And what does it mean for us, self-driving? For us, self-driving is not only a product, but is a product collection. We are developed from the 2017 an autonomous driving chassis, and based on that, we have developed a modular and scalable product. Nowadays, we have 9 products on the market already from last year, and is from the EV to the last mile delivery to a robo vehicle. So basically, on top of our platform, you can put every application, every vehicles on top of that, and we can provide autonomous layer and also hardware. Here, a quick video about our first robo vehicle about last year. Is a robo vehicle for delivery food that we have done in China, and nowadays we are delivering this type of product basically worldwide. A bit about our customer. During the last 10 months, we have delivered to 9 countries. We are talking about worldwide, so China, Europe, and America, US. And we are also on public roads in Italy. We have a driving license in Turin. We have also driving license on public spaces also in Dallas. And we have almost 100 customers. And during the last month, we have delivered 200 vehicles. How we can do something very modular with also a scalability. We are using generative design with the support of Autodesk too. And we are using additive manufacturing, so large-scale 3D printing and digital manufacturing. Here, our plant in China, because our headquarters is in China, but we have also a design office in Turin, in Italy, and a business unit also in America, so we are a worldwide company. And this year, our goal is 1,500 vehicles, and in the next phase, we move to the other buildings, so to reach 5,000 vehicles per year. So please join us on this paradigm revolution. Thank you.
This is really impressive.
Right. Oh, Hannah, sorry.
Oh, we can stay together. Yes, it's the next part again. So thank you so much. Maybe all of you guys, can you support me saying thank you to our first 5 startups? I'm really a big fan of this clapping hand situation. Wow, this looks really cool on my side here. I think, Johannes, this was a cool first 5 startups. And to have a little bit maybe more content, we would maybe switch to our first keynote. And for this, I would like to ask Lyra on stage. He is co-founder and urban developer at Humankind, joining us from Rotterdam today. And actually, Lyra, I just checked your Twitter account, and I think you pinned the highest Twitter thing was like, smart cities have nothing to do with AI or sensors. So sorry for the status beforehand and afterwards. And yeah, it have to be like the way that kids can like walk on streets, cycle free and safe. And yeah, technology can be only a bonus. So excited to hear what you will share with us the next 8 to 10 minutes. I just return on my camera and the time is over. And I would just say, screen is yours.
Thanks. Can you hear me? I will try not to share the screen. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, the question is more, can you hear me? I think this was more the trouble.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Perfect.
I was hearing the entire introduction.
And
the screen sharing is working, right?
It worked perfect.
So I don't see anyone. I don't see the clapping. Save your clapping for the end because I don't see it. I'm just going to start here a stopwatch so I don't running out of time. But yeah, my name is Lyra Steinberg, and as Anna said, I'm an urban planner and the co-founder of Humankind. I'm happy to see here a lot of startups from Israel, where I'm originally from. So I came from Tel Aviv. I'm based in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, for the past 5 years, I would say. And at Humankind, we are in a mission to create more human and kind cities. And I'm an urban planner with a bit of history in programming, and I will share a little bit of our products at the end. But I want to start with this dude, which I guess if you don't recognize, you've been successfully avoiding a lot of news in recent decades. So Elon Musk, and I want to start with him because I believe he's the most influential person in smart cities and smart mobility nowadays. I mean, he's been running 3 companies that have something to do with cities and mobility. And I believe it's a very bad thing that is the person who is leading this revolution. And I will start explaining why by showing his Tesla, which is at the end of the day just an electric car, which is promised to be self-driving at one point. But right now it's a car. We already see the tendency of having bigger and bigger screens in it, in which people will look less and less at what's happening around them in the public space, preparing people to this future of not really caring about driving because your cars will drive you around. And since we don't yet have a proof of concept of such a technology in a lively city like Tel Aviv or Amsterdam or Berlin, we cannot just let the promise of complete self-driving car to lead us in how we plan for mobility. But Elon Musk says, no, don't worry. I'm building this tunnel with his boring company And we will have those shuttles, self-driving shuttles in the tunnels, and they will just move people around a lot. So what I want to say about that is, first, we already have it in the Netherlands, the beer bicycle. It's much more fun. And second of all, well, this thing was sold to Las Vegas, and they just opened last week, the tunnels, but the tunnels don't have those self-driving shared vehicles like we saw before. They have, again, those Teslas with a driver, and unfortunately much less efficient than it was promised. So this was already opened. We already see that the gap between what was promised and the reality. And last week, I think it was clear to everybody. So this is what we got. We got something that looks very much like a technology that exists more than 100 years, the metro, but it is much less efficient. It is costing much more money to taxpayers, and I think it achieves only one thing, which I believe is what leading all those developments I talked about, and it is to avoid sitting next to other people. So to sum up all the story I brought here about Elon Musk, and I promise to stop mentioning him from now on, except of one time, all those technology actually lead us to avoid sitting with other people. And I think this is also the marketing of those technologies. It's kind of, look, we have this technology, you will not need to see anyone, all your deliveries will come to your house, and when you want to leave your house, there will come a car that take you. We urban planners know it doesn't make any sense. It will just create more traffic jams. It's not efficient. At Humankind, we're working on many urban strategies with big cities around the world, and no city can actually ever plan on self-driving cars to solve traffic. But this sells. For some reason, marketing sells, and it works, and people really see this, or at least many people see this hope on stop sitting next to other people when they move around the city. But I see other people as a great thing. I mean, we all move to cities because we want to be next to other cities. It might not be, I have to admit, very comfortable to enter a tram in a European summer. It smells quite bad. But there is something about being next to other cities, and maybe we can use our skills here, creativity here, to make this journey more comfortable and not just create tools that stopping us from meeting each other. So the last time I mentioned Elon Musk is that I do believe that we need to take something from him, and this is the imagination. Is way to capture the imagination of people, for instance, here with the SpaceX program, and get so many people behind him to make a change. And I mentioned this change because this is the exact change that we need to do now in cities, change the imagination of people. So this is an example from Groningen in the Netherlands. This is one of the most busy bicycle routes in the world, taking, I think, over 10,000 people every day on a bicycle, which is also a very old technology. I would call probably the smartest technology out there in terms of mobility. But this is how this street looked until the beginning of the 90s. And when the city decided to turn it from this to this, they asked people for basically a referendum. Do you want to do it or not? It was a referendum, and the results of this referendum, I would think probably 80% wanted to turn the road into a great park. But the result of the referendum was 51% in favor and 49% against. And this is terrible, because if you ask today people if they want to turn it into a road with self-driving cars, they would say, no, keep the cars away. We want only bicycles and great park. And it's terrible, because we as urban planners and urban, leaders, we fail again and again to convince people in a greener, better future, and we unable to capture their imagination like people like Elon Musk do. And this is terrible, because we will keep building tunnels, inefficient tunnels, instead of building great parks. And I want here to call you to use your skills to build great parks and not inefficient tunnels. So I will show just two products that we've been working on. So we are not a startup, but we like to create products and tools. I will share two. I see that I have 3 minutes, so I will do in 1 minute each one of them, and I'll be happy to talk about those products later if you want. So the first one is called the way to go, and it solved the biggest problem I see now in urban mobility planning, which is cities say we want a bicycle lane, we want more green, but we don't have space. Now, I do see space in this picture, but it turns out that many planners and traffic planners don't see space. They believe that a bike lane will create more traffic congestion. And that's why we created the way to go. It's a tool where I'm trying. Do you see the video? Someone can tell. I mean, I don't see you, so maybe Hannah can tell me if you see the video moving.
Yes, we see it, but there's no sound. But I think this is planned.
No, there's no sound. But is it moving?
It's moving.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, the tool, you just fill up the street width of your street that you want to redesign. You choose whether you want to install a bike lane there. Is it a commercial street? Do you want it to be a green street? And you to go, and it basically searches all Dutch streets in the Netherlands and gives you great examples for streets that are 20 square meter and have a bicycle lane and are green or commercial, etc. And then you can just come in and just explore the street with Google Street View. So this is, for me, a great example of using technology to create better streets rather than just to create a technology for the sake of technology. The other tool that I've been working on the recent weeks is sort of a dream of mine, in which this is Amsterdam Map, and this is the accessibility within 15 minutes of walking to all schools in Amsterdam. And what I try to do using basically geoanalysis is to see, first, if you live here, you can reach many schools, and if you live here, you can reach very little schools within 15 minutes of walk. But I want to take it to the next level. I want to start analyzing the way people walk and basically come to solutions that are much more detailed and much more livable than just 15 minutes walk. So imagine if we would want all kids to be able to reach school without crossing a road. Is it possible? This is how it looks now in Amsterdam. It's still very, very much better, but much less. So is this the accessibility to school, or this the accessibility to school? Depends who we ask. Do we want kids to walk alone or not? And I think that, and I'm summing up here, this is the way we need to use geo-analysis, data, smart cities, because at the end of the day, and Anna mentioned before, I believe that those solutions on the left side, we already proved we can deliver them. Sensors, data, I mean, I'm not getting too much excited about them. I know that they are possible and there are enough smart people to do them. But in order to create the picture on the right, where a father can take his daughter easily in a nice ride, this is what truly creates quality of life, I would say. I don't believe children are smiling when they're sitting every day in the car, but they do smile when they're on a bike. And I hope that this presentation helps you maybe rethink or move toward those people-friendly and truly smart cities. Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying, please stop sharing your screen, because you see now how people actually like what you said at the end. So thank you so much. I think overall, Alina actually popped up in here. She lived a little bit in the Netherlands, and I think she, especially, and a lot of our colleagues, big bike fans. So making cities more in this direction, we could work on it for Stuttgart. So thank you so much. Are you staying for the networking part?
Yeah, I will try to stay. So if anyone wants to chat or just brainstorm on something, I would be happy to hear. And of course, just social media, email, I'm available.
We got in touch over LinkedIn. LinkedIn is good to make get in touch with you. Perfect. Thank you so much, and see you later at the tables. And with this, Alina, okay, we need to talk about a little bit more technologies, right? So we have 5 more startups.
Yes.
I'd like, to just give it back to you, or like welcome you, and then see you in a few minutes again.
Thank you very much, Hannah. And yeah, excited to learn that not all sensors and all technologies there are bad. So we're going to kick it off with another round of startup pitches, this time on smart city infrastructure and on user experience. And I'm very excited to ask Aaron on stage from Prisma Photonics to tell us more.
Thank you very much.
Aaron, ready when you are.
Yeah, let me just share the screen. Can you see my screen?
Perfect, ready to go.
Very good. So my name is Aaron Bar and I'm the CEO of Presentation. And I would like you to imagine a smart highways. All cars are monitored, both location and speed. We have real-time alerts for accident or for any high-risk events. Let's think about smart cities. A complete and detailed traffic monitoring, construction site, and many other events. So it's nice vision, but the major gap is the million of sensors required. And what if someone can tell you that those sensors were already in place for you? So Prisma Photonics is using the pre-existing fiber optics communication cables as sensors. Using those existing and already installed assets, both highways and cities can be fully monitored. The benefits are quite clear. We are speaking about immediate ramp-up time with unparalleled cost structure. I would mention that this is a proven and validated technology. It's ready for demonstration and implementation. And thank you very much.
Thank you, perfectly on time. And with that, I'd actually like to move on to Elon, who's with us next, also from Israel, but representing No Traffic, a traffic management solution. Elon, why don't you give it away? 90 seconds are yours.
Perfect. Thank you, Alina. Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be speaking to you today. I think this is the hardest task I have today, keeping it within my 1.5 minutes, but I'm going to do my best. So both keynote speakers of the day, Dirk and Lior, just speaking now, we're talking about congestion. Congestion is a huge issue that cities are dealing with, and as I'm sure you know, it's a problem it's not getting any better. It's getting much worse. What not a lot of people know is that these inefficiencies have additional implications. Growing congestion not only means bad experience for commuters, it also means more car accidents. It also means more emissions. And the solution that cities are for the most part taking is building more and more lanes. But there is a limit to how many lanes we can continue building. And also a lot of research that basically proves that by building more and more lanes, you're not actually helping solve the problem, you're actually making it worse. The solution is technology, and this is what No Traffic is doing. So No Traffic developed an autonomous traffic management platform. And essentially what that means is that we are creating an environment where traffic lights are both communicating with one another and commuting with vehicles and with pedestrians. So the infrastructure is completely digital, completely connected. Vehicles can wait up to half the time of what they're used to waiting in traffic. Pedestrians can be prioritized at intersections. Cities can define different types of policies. Accidents can be prevented before they happen. And even once they do happen, emergency vehicles can be quickly dispatched. No Traffic is already operational. We're working in several different locations in the US, Phoenix, Silicon Valley, just to mention a few of them. We also have some very strong strategic partners. Looking to expand to Germany in the next coming year. And yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate this opportunity. Looking forward to talking to most of you afterwards.
Thank you very much, Elon. And yeah, if you would like to learn more, all of the startups will be at their net here in Remo, so you have to chat to them directly or contact us for the details if you can't make it tonight. And with that, we're actually going to move from the infrastructure to the experience side of it. And I'd like to ask Jalal from InFlight ER to tell us more about their VR entertainment.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, my name is Jalal Zriwil, Commercial Director at InFlight VR. InFlight VR is the leading provider of a VR entertainment platform within the travel and leisure industry. Our product has won the trust of many top-tier clients in various travel-related segments. For aviation, we have served customers such as Qatar Airways, Singapore Airlines, Iberia, Austrian Airlines, Airbus, and many others. In 2019, we have been an award-winning finalist for Best Customer Experience by the Crystal Cabin Awards. After successfully validating travel entertainment in the airline industry, our expertise and technology has helped us to easily transition into other means of transportation and have served, for example, Flixbus in Germany and the United States with outstanding results. Our product is equipped with the right tools for improving the customer experience while increasing the performance and benefits. With benefits, we mean real financial benefits, as we have established for several of our aviation customers a return of investment in just several months. Looking at the future, the mobility and transport concepts are constantly evolving. The challenge is to ensure that the mobility of tomorrow is not only autonomous, but also exciting and unique for passengers while guaranteeing the highest comfort and safety. Emerging trends and technologies have to be considered, and solutions that stand out have to be developed. Please do reach out to me if you have any questions or just like to know more about our product, and let's make virtual reality a business reality together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yeah, now we're going to move to a French startup, actually, Orchestra, that are working on an immersive solution for cities. So, Patrick, why don't you give it away?
All right, Alina, thanks for having me. Share my screen. So, do you see my presentation?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So, and we provide the virtual layer to turn any place into a digital experience. To create our location-based immersive apps, we use our own custom-tailored framework. Our mission is to offer immersive outdoor experiences in which people can discover meaningful information about a place with the use of their smartphones. Our framework offers a wide variety of features to achieve this goal. We have downloadable story packages, we provide navigational tools, we tell stories with photos, interactive timelines and soundscapes, and we enable virtual visits, to just name a few. So how can our framework be relevant to new mobility concepts and experiences? We can offer exclusive behind-the-scenes access or enhanced VIP tours of headquarters, factories, or manufacturing plants. We can create rear seat entertainment with location-based cultural contents. We can encourage drivers to take short cultural breaks. And we can enhance the before and after of a trip with tools for planning or to recap all passed-by locations. So you could say we take looking out of the window to a whole new level. If you want to see Orchestra in action, go to the App Store and download one of our 8 apps and experience some of our 25 tailor-made stories. So in general, just get in touch if you would like to use our framework, produce a prototype or proof of concept with us, or make use of our expertise in location-based storytelling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. And I'll be around for our networking session after, so people can reach out to you right away and learn.
Yeah.
So with that, we're actually turning to our last startup of the day, which is Exxon Vibe from Switzerland. Kilian, are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Then let me... do you see like a big logo?
Yes, perfect. 90 seconds are yours.
Cool. Thank you a lot. So yes, we are Exxon Vibe. Our former company actually was acquired by Google and delivered core technology for Google Maps, one of the most popular car navigation systems nowadays. And today at Exxon Vibe, we help public transport operators and authorities rebuild trust and win back ridership in the new normal. We do that by predicting individual travel behavior and proactively inform individual users about disruptions, crowds, and alternative routes or modes of transport. This is an AI-driven smart assistance, which is seamless across public, shared, and private mobility. The information is highly personalized and respects the individual user's habits and preferences. We already partner with large public transport operators such as Deutsche Bahn, MTA New York, Swiss Federal Railways, and also Japan Railways. Due to COVID and decreased ticket sales, public transport and authorities are actually facing unprecedented budget shortfalls. So by understanding citizens' mobility and lifestyle behavior, Oxen Vibe connects real-world experience along the travel chain with offerings of local businesses. This boosts the local economy, increases customer loyalty, and also generates ancillary revenue to compensate those budget shortfalls of public transport operators. And the gathered 24/7 and door-to-door behavior insights of citizens are actually the baseline data for city authorities to optimize smart city road and rail infrastructure and achieve net zero carbon emission goals through data-driven behavior change. So we want to focus on the citizen, on the people, and less on the hardware, on the vehicles. Thank you a lot.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And yeah, those were all of the startups of today. Again, if you want to meet them, they will be around. I hope so will you. And with that, I'm handing back to Hannah.
Thank you, Alina. And really amazing technologies. Actually, it's especially this deep dive meetup. I'm a big fan because it's like so sometimes B2C thing. And I hope once we will get it here in our cities done. We're kind of coming to the end. And of course, like thanks to the startups, to the speakers, and of course, all to you. But I want to take the chance before our last thing to just motivate you to maybe join our upcoming meetup. So the next one upcoming is together with our partner BS. We were focusing on sustainable material and manufacturing. Again, you will meet 10 amazing startups. We actually already have 2 cool keynotes from BASF, from Bosch. We will have a panel. So please mark your calendar. On May 20, a lot of you actually got an email today with the date already included, but as well on June 24th, together with Porsche and Bosch, we'll look more in the e-mobility area, and then July 22nd, the startups with employers C will join. So just mark the calendar before we go over to the networking. And with this, actually, I would like to ask our last keynote speaker to join me here. It's from AMS Institute, Stefan. You only have 5 minutes. You know this, right?
Oh, it was only
about open innovation for urban impact. And then later on, I think you and Alexander from Murata, you will have your own table to discuss the topic a bit more in detail. And
yep. I'm just looking at how I will share the screen. Let me see. Are you already seeing it or not?
We don't see it. If you go next to the mic on, there's a share button below. And then you can actually pick one.
So, are you now seeing anything or not?
It's yours.
Still? Yeah, is it working or not?
Oh, no, it's not working.
Oh, that's strange. Why is it not working? Just a minute.
The page. And we will give a quick Remo introduction in the meantime, if you want.
Let me see, because it's strange why it's not sharing.
But then, Stefan, maybe give it a try, and I will ask real quick Anton to join me here so we don't lose any time to give some hints how to use this network. And then afterwards, we will do...
Yeah, it's okay.
Action.
Perfect.
So,
yeah, happy to jump in here. Unfortunately, the sun is coming in here, so that's why I'm a little bit blurry. But really quickly, just for the networking later, most of you guys are already familiar with Remo. So it's our networking tool we're using. In order to jump from table to table, you just have to double click. We have 6 tables in total. On the left side of Remo, you can select the floors. Usually floors number 3 to 6 are a little bit more silent, so you can relax there if you would like to. And on floor number 1, we have placed all the startups in alphabetical order. So the first few minutes, you will also be able to catch them at one of the tables. There will be a separate table also for the AMS Institute, so where you will be able to talk to them. You will be able to catch Lior also at one of the tables, and there's a ZF table, so you might catch Dirk and Joscha from ZF at that table. And yeah, if you have any questions, drop me a note in the chat box, and I'm happy to help you if you experience any problems with Remo. And you will also find me at the support table on the left. That's pretty much it, and I hope that the screen sharing works now, so we can conclude this event with the last keynote. Thank you.
Let's see how it works now.
Or you can send it me via chat, and I'm happy to open it for you.
There's a blockage, I don't know why, but I'll send it to you.
Okay. But is there anything else you could already share without slides to the team?
Well, of course, because I wanted to talk about something that is really close to my heart, and it's about how to better innovate in cities to create real urban impact. I'll send you in the meantime. I tried to send you the link, Hannah. I hope it's possible. For some reason, just a minute.
If not, at the table, you have the possibility as well to share your screen. So if you want, we can just move the presentation to your own table, and we do like a, what is it, like a TED Talk about slides here.
Okay, let's do that, because for some reason I cannot really share it. It's blocking.
Technologies of today.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just let you here by yourself and share your thoughts, and then more details later on at your table.
Okay. So maybe just shortly, without the slides then, I wanted to tell a bit more about what we do at the AMS Institute and, let's say, the unique environment we created in the city of Amsterdam. The city of Amsterdam started a research institute and a large infrastructure in the city to accelerate innovation for the city. Because what it seems that, especially the collaboration between cities, municipalities, and businesses is not really organized in the right way. You end up in public procurement processes very quickly, which is not really fostering any learning or innovation. It's just stifling the process. So we created an institute consisting of researchers from 3 of the leading universities of technology in the world, MIT, Delft University of Technology, and Wageningen University, together with the city and a large group of business partners to work on innovation for the city. We have a portfolio of more than 100 million euros of projects ongoing in the city, all focusing on big challenges that a city like Amsterdam faces, but also cities worldwide. In the mobility area, we work particularly on intelligent traffic management, but also on pedestrian flows, on bicycles, smart bikes, on mobility hubs and EVs, of course, on autonomous vessels, which is one of the most important parts for the city of Amsterdam because we have lots of waterways. And we all can do this within the city itself. So it's not an institute outside on the university campus. It's in the heart of the city where we can use the environment around us for piloting and validation. And I would really like to invite all of you, also the business partners and also startups, to talk with us and see how we can help you in improving the innovation process and getting real impact in the city, and not all kinds of unintended consequences with new innovations and drilling big tunnels in the world. Thanks.
Now I have sound. I'm a big fan of Amsterdam and your institute. It's a really cool location you guys based. So I'm excited to see how your table is going and if there are some collaborations coming out. Thank you for your free pitch. No. You know, actually at the end, and the only thing I wanted to say on the end, it's a big thank you to all of you, speaker startups, all the guests, but especially to our co-hosts. It was really fun scouting the startups, deciding on speakers. So I think there was a lot of input, and for this, we can go now, I think, to the tables, and we actually checked we can extend the time, I think, twice to 30 minutes. So these are the good news at the end. And thanks to my team, Alina, Johannes, Anton, for sharing the stage with me here today. And I must say,
this would be now the time where everybody comes on stage, from startups, the speakers. Maybe this is possible. Let's see.
Yeah, we will have soon again in-person events. I'm a big believer in this. So
perfect.
Cool. So thank you, everyone, and see you at the tables.